Well, hello there, and welcome to the historic Marietta National Cemetery, located just a few blocks from the city square in Marietta, Georgia, 15 miles or so north of Atlanta. This cemetery can trace its roots to 1866, the year after the Civil War ended. A man named Henry Cole tried to provide this land for burials of both Confederate and Union Army. However, that didn't work out very well. He ends up providing this land for the Union Army, and there were over 10,000 casualties of various conflicts in the South that the Union dead are now buried here. Since that time, veterans of every war are buried here, to include the Spanish-American War, World War I, World War II, Vietnam, the more recent conflicts of Iraq and Afghanistan. But today, in accordance with what we've been studying, I wanted to take some time and visit some of the World War II veterans who are buried here at Marietta National Cemetery. Overall, there are 2,000 World War II veterans, of which 383 were killed in action. Remember that acronym, KIA. Mitchell Cartwright, as we see here, he was from the state of Georgia. He was a PFC, that's a private first class, the QM Corps, the Quartermaster Corps. He was killed July 21st, 1945. Next to Mr. Cartwright is Bradford Johnson. He was from the state of Indiana. He was a private, also in the Quartermaster Corps, and he was killed September 22nd, 1944. William Mixon, as we can see, was a sergeant in the field artillery from the state of Michigan. His date of death was September 24th, 1944. But the veteran that I want to spend a few extra minutes with is somebody that we have come to know during this session. If you recall from the previous slide, Norman L. Roberts was buried here March 1st, 1948. Now let's take a look at this headstone and compare it and remember what we saw in the obituary. Norman Roberts, his next of kin, remember that, the NOK, was his mother, Mossy, and they were from the city of Acworth. It was just to the northwest of Marietta here. He was a private in the Air Corps, and indeed he did die June 28th, 1943. So there are some other interesting facts here. This Army Air Corps, during World War II, the Army, the United States Air Force did not come into existence yet. It was the U.S. Army Air Corps, the U.S. Army Air Forces, and the branch of service known as the Air Force actually didn't come into play until 1948. So let's talk about some possible assumptions that we can make about Norman Roberts surrounding his service and his death. We know that he was killed in Luzon, and that's in the Philippines. We read that in the obituary. And the time frame, of course, was 1943. But how did he die? We don't know. We can speculate that one possibility, as he was in the Air Corps, he was killed maybe during an aerial mission in that part of the Pacific Ocean, or the fact that he was in the Army Air Corps, he may have been one of the land forces in the Philippines that were captured by the Japanese in 1942, and there were a lot of prisoner of war camps in that area. Maybe he died there. So we don't know these. These are speculations that we would need to go and research and turn those into facts if we wanted to learn more about Norman L. Roberts.